Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus. SUV Talk, joined once again by my friend, colleague, and always smile on her face, from Chicago, Jill Simnello.
Oh,
Hi, Jill.
hi.
So, we have a couple announcements to make. I'm just letting it go live. Number one, I've been sick all week with a really bad thing, so my energy level is like at a 2, but I'm going to do the best I can. I'll be aided by my special friend, and we'll make that happen. Number two, ratings have been, or views have been down because I've been sick. I haven't pushed much exciting stuff out. So I decided that Jill can say whatever she wants to say tonight because what the heck.
That's dangerous.
Oh, don't make me
Uh,
laugh.
but
Oh, that
but
hurts.
but what, but what do you mean you have been pushing exciting stuff out? I mean, come on, the Mitsubishi Outlander review that went out yesterday. That was really exciting stuff.
It was. It was. The exciting part of that with that video was many things. One was the minute and a half segment where you got locked out of the vehicle. Um, that was hilarious. The other thing,
Thanks for that. Yeah.
yeah. The other thing that was interesting was we should discuss this because it came up in the comments on TikTok a little bit differently than it came in YouTube comments. So YouTube comments said
hmm
that they couldn't handle the front end; it was too fugly.
hmm
The TikTok said Hyundai Palisade, and
Yeah.
and if people don't know this, Elliot and John and two Johns are here, Ram's here. If you guys haven't noticed this before, what happens is when you go to these launches, you have like an hour and a half of time with the vehicle, or you're really short, and so you have really fast first impressions. Things don't always soak in. But now you've been able to step away for a little bit and step back. So where are you at on the fugliness of this Mitsubishi?
You know, I like that it's different, and it's definitely one of those things you're like you do like this double take. It's in your face. But I I actually am not bothered by it. Like at first I was just kind of like, "Ooh." But like the more I look at it, the more I like it. And it has some really neat details with the grill. And one of the things, and I don't I couldn't capture it because it wasn't really nighttime when I was doing the video. Obviously, it was bright sunlight. But there's this light that like an LED light that runs around the casing of the headlights. And so I think at night that is going to provide like a really, really cool lighting signature. And I just wish I could have showed that because I think that looks really cool. And it's really funny because when all the people on TikTok kept saying Hyundai Palisade, and they would say Hyundai Palisade meets Land Rover Range Rover Evoque meets, and I forget what they said it looked like from the rear, but they said the side was Evoque, they said the front was Hyundai Palisade, and I forget what they said was for the rear, but I was like, I don't see any of that. And I guess I kind of see what they're talking about with the Hyundai Palisade because it's got that, big like C curve. But I don't know. I mean, when you look at it as a whole, I don't see it.
Yeah, it's always interesting, and I guess it's one of those things about running a media outlet like we do. Like, so, Jill and I consider us partners in many ways because she's got the website going and I got YouTube going. We work together on YouTube and website, and she's got her TikTok too. And so, but what we do is you open yourself up to comments, and some of the comments are expected. Sometimes they're expected. Other times, things like just hit you from what your audience, says. And I think that's what's different between us and other outlets is we really do pay attention to our comments. I mean, for better or worse, I'm always reading them and sometimes take a break. And yeah, I mean, we're always paying attention to comments. And it's interesting. Those first reactions came in, and it kind of built on that. And so I thought it was kind of interesting. All right, so we should talk about the elephant in the room, literally the size of an elephant. I think when I saw Andre stand next to this thing, the GMC Hummer. Is it SUV EV or is it EV SUV?
I think it's EV SUV because then they have the EV SUT.
Oh dear Lord. So
All caps.
right.
It's like jazz hands all the time. Jazz hands. I'm
So
not putting Hummer in all caps. I'm not going to do it.
yeah, and so Jill was and you guys are gonna hate her for this. She was at Final Four, and she was doing a Final Four trip. She actually saw the game. So there you go. hating on Jill.
Actually, I saw the championship game. So I wasn't at the Final Four on Saturday, but I went to the championship game on Monday.
Right. So Jill had filed her story near the stadium that day on the Hummer. So Jill, I'm gonna let you take it away because, frankly, I was so busy with Easter weekend. I think I caught it. I think I finally saw it Tuesday. The 1 minute infomercial, whatever they put out. So what is this damn thing?
Well, this damn thing is an electric vehicle that is supposed to, I mean, it is replacing the former Hummer SUV, the H3, but it's all electric now. And you know, they first launched the pickup truck, or the SUT, as they are now calling it. And which, I mean, follows along the Hummer nomenclature. That's what they called the truck version of the Hummer way back when, 2009. And so now they have the SUV version, which is like the truck, but smaller. It is actually a little bit shorter. The wheelbase is smaller. And, you know, the enclosed space in the back. It does have a lot of the same functionality that the truck will have, you know, with the crab walk. And it'll have the watts to freedom. And I have to tell you, it just hit me, watts to freedom. WTF.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it hit me on Monday when I was writing the story, or Sunday when I was writing the story. Little bit slow on the uptake here. But it was no Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. But yeah, so I was like, oh, that's funny. But yeah, so I mean, it has a lot of the same capabilities. It has, you know, up to 3 motors. However, it will not get 1,000 horsepower, which is what the truck will have. It'll only have 830 horsepower, but it gets the same pound-feet. So I think they're saying 11,500 pound-feet of torque. On the low end, they're looking at like 300 miles of range. I think on the high end, they're looking at 350. Let me look at that again, because the truck is... okay, so the max range for the SUV is going to be 300 miles. The max range for the SUT is going to be 350 miles. So base price is the same, just under $80,000. You know, max price is similar. I think the SUT tops out at $112,000. The SUV is going to top out at about $110,000, and that's with the like extreme off-road packaging, with the you know, suspension that has the I forget what they call it, the extraction mode, so you can get out of very sticky situations.
Parking lot.
Yeah, or, you know, Chicago pothole, I don't know. But one of the things that I'm working on right now is I wanted to do a comparison not only between the SUT and SUV, but then take a look back at the old gasoline version, so the 2009 Hummer H2. And so I put together, like, they haven't really released a lot of information yet and a lot of specifications. But by the way, General Motors does not archive their media site, so it's been really hard to find the H2 old tech specs. So I've been like kind of just Googling and hopefully grabbing correct information from random places around the web. Wikipedia may have been involved, so I'm not going to completely account for all of the details. But I mean, so the interesting thing is the H2 SUT or SUV from way back when is shorter. You know, the wheelbase is about 4 inches shorter. The wheelbase is about 4 inches shorter. You know, it's about 5 inches narrower, so it's not as wide as the electric vehicles are. And it didn't have as much capability as these electric vehicles are going to have. And you know, they're saying 0 to 60 for the SUV is going to be 3.5 seconds. Well, 0 to 60 for the old vehicle with the, I think it was like a V6 engine maybe, is 393 horsepower, 415 pound-feet of torque, 9.1 seconds. 0 to 60, 9.1 seconds. So, I mean, it's just kind of funny to take a look back, too, at, okay, this is what they were looking at. And what they've done is they've made it bigger, faster, heavier, more capable, and then they've added an electric powertrain to it. So I'm fascinated by it. I loved the H3. I was probably one of those weird people that truly loved it. It was, I think, and this is kind of hilarious. It was like the 4th test vehicle I ever had. So imagine somebody who owns a Saturn. I'm in my 20s. I'm a Saturn driver, and they give me this big honkin' H2 SUV to drive in the city of Chicago. I was so flippin' paranoid the entire time. It obviously didn't fit in my garage, and parked it on the street. I'd wake up every morning. I'm like, okay, it's still there. Not that anybody would get very far in it if they tried to like tow it or hijack it or something. But yeah. So I mean, I liked it. So I'm kind of excited to see this EV and to take it off road and to see what it can do. Obviously a little bit concerned about range, but I mean the old SUV only had about 299 miles of range on a tank of gas. But I mean that's much more easily replenished when you're in the middle of nowhere if you carry an extra gas can. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I like the SUV better than the SUT. So I will be very curious to see it in real life.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about this, and we are in discussion about this. And my thing with it is I see the stats, right? So you got to see the stats, right? And they're putting the BS number of 11,000 foot-pounds of torque, which is just it's mathematical bull. I mean, engineers are pulling numbers out of their butts and they're making numbers. You're talking basically a 3/4 ton heavy-duty SUV. I mean, that's going to be the weight. It's going to be heavy. It's batteries are heavy. It's going to be heavy. So a really heavy rig that you're going to add additional weight to with passengers. And then I've noticed on some of the GM press releases now that they're talking about range can be impacted by weather, by payload, by driving characteristics. I mean, yeah, obviously, that's all going to be impacted. Like my F-150 hybrid outside. I mean, that thing, I can get 29 miles a gallon. Yeah. If I drive the slowest possible speed known to man and I roll up across every stop sign, and getting to 24 is still a question mark because if the wind blows, I'm not getting 24. There's no way because it's so suspect. It's so turbocharged with the hybrid. It's just too many factors. Like when I get a naturally aspirated engine, I know I'm going to get EPA because it's just what's going to do. There's no question marks there. So, but here's my thing, is that I'm just not excited about it. Like, am I too practical? Am I getting too? I know. Get off my lawn. I get it. I don't. When they're offering something for 112,000, whatever the price is going to be. I mean, it's like the people buying this to me are not practical consumers. They're not thinking about all the variants. Like the guy I interviewed one time, he bought the GMC Hummer SUT, wanted to live off grid in Alaska, in the deep woods, and I asked him how he's going to charge this thing, and he was like, "What do you mean? I don't need to charge it." So I'm just like, I don't. Yeah, that's my look I have, and I would rub my chin, but people say that I rub my chin too much in the videos.
You do that too much, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just, I don't know. It's interesting. It's like, yeah. So Philip says you can make 1,000,000 pounds of torque with the right gearing. You can do whatever you want electric. I mean, electric on demand. Mm-hmm. There was a video. And I wonder, Mike says, more excited about magnet electric axles go to normally pick up chassis. Yeah, make it look normal. But Jill, did you see the video that our friend Mercedes Lilienthal shot? It was a Jeep Wrangler Magneto that was the battery electric that went down a climb in Moab, and it's on the Crankshaft Culture Facebook page, whatever. I would play you the video, but there's nothing to hear. Except the slight whine. I think it's got a little whine because it's the battery motor or something. And I was thinking, like, I don't know. I just, it's like I have this ongoing debate on my Facebook page, my personal one, and I've asked people, like, is this something you really want? I get that there's people that want to go out in nature and only hear nature. Yeah, there's hiking trails. I mean, there's good for that. People want to go camping and only want to be camping. Every time I go camping at that KOA, somebody brings out a radio. Like, camping is never quiet anymore. It's dudes with Budweiser and a radio blaring off the back of their pickup. They want to have a party when they're camping. So there's nothing to me about going in nature that's quiet. I play golf. I guarantee you, every time I play golf, somebody's getting a new roof. It's pop, 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 pop. So I'm trying to figure out, like, A, who can afford it without an 84-month loan. I mean, so 60-month loan, 112,000. I mean, that's several grand a month, probably. Is my guess, based on what I bought that'd be double. So my truck from Ford Credit was $1,000 a month, nothing down, for 5 years at 57,000. That was, I mean, I refinanced. But if you double that price with nothing down, you're at $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I will point out to you the first edition, or edition 1, I forget what they're calling it, is already sold out. The most expensive models are already sold out.
Which is still BS. It's still no. It is BS because.
But you don't know if they only sold 5 of them and now they're sold out. Like you don't. They don't reveal to you like how many.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's that's ridiculous. So I mean, it's like I'm. Gene says it's not a new roof; it's a golf ball hitting the roof. No, it is a real roof. No. Here's my problem, is that I'm gonna go to the Jeep 4xe event in Austin in 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks, and I'm trying to be excited about this thing. I because I need to be, right? As a journalist, I need to understand what this customer is buying. I need to give them right information. I don't want to be their biased against this electric technology off road. I'm really, trust me, I'm trying hard for this, and I'm taking my RC cars and we're testing out electric off road. And I did buy a golf cart, which is gas, by the way, FYI. Anyways, so I'm thinking about this stuff, and random fact. So I'm trying to understand this, and I'm trying to understand the motivation behind this. I was watching the CBS News did a thing with Mark Royce, and he was talking about the Plant Zero. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's the biggest body shop GM's ever built, and all the vehicles in that lineup be fully electric. I know John Buckler and I have talked about this, a few times about this, and it's not my lifetime will happen. We'll never get the full EV. 2% of all car sales last year were electric vehicles. And Tesla owned 1%, so guess what? Everybody else got run for scraps. But I don't know. It's just... So guys, put in the comments below. I mean, are you guys excited for a quiet off-road? Is that something that makes electric gear good for deer hunting? No, it's not. No, I'm telling you, I've hunted deer for a long time. They will see you. They will smell you. You can't sneak up on a deer. If you can, you're like one of those commandos in like some 80s action movie. Like there's no.
And you haven't showered for a week.
Yeah, I mean you're covered in deer urine. I mean that's not gonna happen. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm keeping an open mind as best I can. But I saw that video from Mercedes and I was like, I just don't get it. So my wife brought up a point. She says, if you lived in a city where things were really noisy all the time, maybe you'd want a quieter car, like so you're not attributing to the noise of the city. Is that appealing to you, being in Chicago? Would you want something that's quiet? Because I mean, I know you fell in love with the Mach-E, and I know your husband said he would drive it. But is it appealing? Is that something you're gonna put on your list that says, if I was a journalist driving 100 cars a year, I'm gonna drive the Mach-E?
I mean, I quiet is probably not necessarily on my list. I mean, I will say there is there's always noise in my neighborhood. Luckily, I do not live across from a fire station or near a fire station, because that would be a whole new set of noise. But I mean, you're always hearing cars go up and down your street. When I lived, so I currently live on a side street, and I moved there from a main street, and on the main street, like, it was just a hum in the background, and you just tune it out eventually.
It's city hum. Like, you go to major cities, there's a din of a sound in the city.
Yeah, but for me, it's not the sound that I would want. It's the fuel economy, and so that's why, for me, I am a fan of plug-in hybrids, because especially the ones like the Toyota Prius, or not the Toyota Prius, but the Toyota RAV4 Prime. Where it gets like 40 or 50 miles of range. That, to me, is a super practical vehicle, because I could probably go weeks without ever dipping into the gas tank. I go to the gym. It's there and back is 5 miles. If I went out to the suburbs, depending on which suburb I went to, I mean, maybe that's 40 miles round trip. So I would just dip into the gasoline, getting home. But for the most part, for me, it would be more of a fuel economy thing and a fuel savings thing than a silence, quiet thing. And would I be willing to pay $112,000 for that? No. But when you look at something like the Jeep 4xe, and I'm going to be super duper curious about what the pricing is on that, because I notoriously get around 12 miles per gallon when I drive a Wrangler in the city of Chicago. I get really, really crappy gas mileage. So if I could get anything over 20, in the city, that would be amazing. And so to me, that's the sell with something like the 4xe. It's not the quiet communing with nature or being silent in the city. It's the ability to have this super capable vehicle that I can take off road, that I can, take on a road trip, that I can drive everywhere and still get 30 to 35 miles per gallon when I'm in the city. Maybe more, because it's plug-in electric.
Well, and Jacob brings up a good point about instant torque. So I've heard this in the comments too, that the biggest thing with battery electric and the biggest thing with plug-in is instant torque. And you and I have been off-roading. Mm-hmm. I don't recall a time with a new vehicle that I've been needing more torque to get up a climb. I've needed locking rear axles. I've needed crawl mode or whatever, crawl control. I've needed front locking axle. I mean, I've needed some off-road gear to get up, but I can't think of a time I needed torque.
No, but so here's the thing. What they are going to show you on this program is this vehicle is just as capable as any Wrangler you have ever driven before. Torque, no torque, horsepower, no horsepower. There are no compromises in the off-road capability of this vehicle. And you can, and you can get like 30 miles per gallon when you tool around town. A lot of people will probably never, ever, let me throw in a little Taylor Swift there, take their Wrangler off-road. So, I mean, it's a city car. And people want to drive it. People want it. It looks cool. It looks like they could do something. It looks, badass. But they may go over a speed bump or, drive over a curb when they're trying to parallel park. Otherwise, they're not really going to be traversing much terrain. So I think that the point of the program that you're going to is to show you there are no compromises. It's just as good as every Wrangler has ever been. But there's this other thing that makes it even better.
All right, so it's going to look good on a Tinder profile picture. I'm with you there. So
with those blue toe hooks. Come on.
Let's get back. Let's get back to some comments. James Batten wants to know AT4 Sierra 1500 should be here in a month. First thing I should do to prevent rust right after being delivered from factory. The oil, like Mike says, we did a video on the oil. I'm in between the oil or fluid film. It seems like people are big fans of fluid film. I want to get a couple of varieties of this stuff and try it myself before I recommend anything, but I don't know. A couple things you could do. The Gene saying the hybrid would be the first he goes to an internal combustion engine. I tend to like the hybrid I have the torque like you're talking about, but I also have the range. And every time I have a plug-in hybrid, I forget to plug it in. And I think most people have the same problem.
That's a you problem.
No. Who's our friend? Ed Kim. Was it Ed Kim that said that?
Well, at Auto Pacifica, yeah, he said that we had him on the other podcast, the other podcast that I co-host.
Yes.
And he said that they did a study at Auto Pacific, and something like maybe, and I'm totally pulling this number out of, I don't know, it's probably not right, but it's something like 10% of the people who own a plug-in hybrid plug it in. I mean, it was really, really a minuscule number of like all the people who own a plug-in hybrid who actually plug it in.
Yeah.
But I blame that on, people who live in California who bought the plug-in hybrids just so they could drive in the carpool lane.
So there's that fact too. There is, and Philip brings up a good point. There's less driving fatigue with electric, especially the one pedal driving. There is the one pedal driving, and Jill experienced this. I've experienced it too. I think I drove a Prius a couple times. I drove something else, and I've the one pedal. The wagon that Chevy's got, the Bolt. I call it a wagon. It's got one pedal. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's different. It's like driving my 62. You got to get used to not having the modern setup, and it's I think it was interesting. So I saw it, and I know my I have a lot of younger cousins who are want to talk to me about trucks and SUVs because I'm a YouTube guy, and YouTube's the biggest, greatest thing in the world right now, and B, they're truck fans and stuff, and so I know they get excited by these massive torque numbers. But again, I just want to see what it looks like in the real world, and what's it actually mean? Is it usable torque? Is it just kind of the same? I mean, that's kind of my questions. There was a question I want to get to because there's one more thing. I want to talk about the over-the-air update with the Ford. There's one other question. There was a question about Ram doing away with the Hemi, and this question has come up a few times. I'm scrolling up right now. To find Ram Rider brought the question up, and it was about the Hemi engine going away. I think I can kind of summarize that. I can't see it now. Anyways, there's been this question, and it was actually, here it is. No, that's lifespan of the battery. See, that's another question. Ram asked too many questions. But the question was about the Hemi engine name, and there's been some questions out there over time about marketing. Like, how long does Ram keep the Hemi engine without doing something different to it? Do they change the name? Could make it new and exciting? Like GM's got the, they do the LBZ, the L whatever engines, the different Cummins engine, or different, not Cummins engines, but different Duramax engines. There's different Ecotech engines. There's different, that inline 6 turbo, they say. There's questions about that. I don't have any. I have to take my truck in for oil change. I'm taking my Ford in for oil change pretty soon. I'll answer the sludge question when I have that chance. Inline 6 turbo, there's questions about that because right now they have the 3.6 liter V6. I mean, there's lots of questions surrounding this because that Hemi name's been around for a while. The 5.7 liter's been around for a while. If you follow the news at all, you know that it's been speculated that Toyota is going to kill their 5.7 and the I-Force goes away, and it's just a bunch of marketing stuff. I don't think so. I think at this stage of the game, here we go. James Franklin asked questions. Is Ram ever going to replace the Hemi in the Ram trucks, whatever, inline 6 turbo? At this point of the game, I don't think that Ram's going to change the engine at all. And I say that for a couple reasons, in that everything's turning towards electric so much and a hybrid powertrain so much that I think they're just going to stick with what they have and then eventually go hybrid and go. They have the mild hybrid right now, or the 48 volt system. They're going to keep going down that road, and that's where they're going to head. So I don't think they're going to touch the Hemi name. I don't think they're going to do anything with inline 6 turbo. Listening to a lot of these manufacturers talk anymore, future development on ICE engines is dead, from what I understand. They're cutting them down. They're not going to do any more future development on them. They're not going to improve them in any way. They're not talking about what's going on with these engines at all. So I can see the straight 5.7 liter going away at some point, not anytime soon, at some point, and becoming a hybrid. And the Hemi name will probably be a Hemi hybrid or e-Hemi. Yeah,
I was gonna say here's a deep thought.
You're right.
What about the platform of the battery? Be calling, if they would call it like the e-Hemi or Hemi E.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen with those engines is you're going to see that at this stage in the game, they're just not going to make changes. I think they're going to keep rolling along with what they have, and they're just going to keep doing new or different products because they're not going to have that stuff to happen on what's going on with that. So I would think that that's where they're at right now with that. I don't foresee any changes. There is a lifespan typically with names, and you've seen this in other automakers have done this. Hemi names been around for about 10 years now. They spent a lot of money advertising that. Remember the dudes look in the car and like, that thing got a Hemi? I mean, they had all those commercials about that. I mean, so I don't see what's going on with that. So I think that's what's going to happen. There's a question about sludge. It's interesting with the hybrid. I mean, the hybrid uses a synthetic oil. I mean, everything uses synthetic oil. Even like transmissions using synthetic oil. So I'm surprised there's a sludge question. There's another question. So let's talk about my Ford for a minute before we throw it back to Joe for something else. There's been a couple things that happened with the Ford recently. I decided to keep the truck for a little while. The reason for that was I didn't realize I had signed some sort of social contract with you guys, which I'm fine with, and I'm going to keep it for a while. But I also discovered I really like having a truck around. I had a couple of press loans that weren't trucks, and I was like, this sucks. So I'm going to keep it around for a little bit. I love to have a truck. And so I was like, the expenditure, and I just got my taxes back, and I was like, it worked out great. So I'm going to keep the truck around for a little bit, make the payments. We, on a business point of view, we just had the best quarter of the business's life ever. So there's no concerns about making payments. To tell you that much. So I'm really pleased with the performance there. So I really don't have any concerns with that. So I thought I'd keep it around for a little longer. I also did some more thinking based on the comments. I think I figured out a way to do a max tow with it. I'm going to call a farmer friend of mine and see if I can't find a trailer, conventional hookup trailer with hay bales. I think I can get close to 11,000 pounds. I know I can get close to 11,000 pounds of hay bales quickly. So I am gonna try that and have you guys watch that video because I don't agree with max towing a half ton, but I do see the value of you guys knowing the information, and I am a pretty experienced tower, so I can do it. Big boy panties, all that kind of stuff. But what I wanted to get to was another thing that came up was I don't know if I can. I can't really show you on the screen, but I can. I took a photo of it. Did I take a photo? Anyways, I had my first over-the-air update, and I was out to the truck. I have a notification on my Ford app saying I have an over-the-air update. And so I took a screenshot. I don't know where it went to. Is that it? No. But I took a screenshot of it, and of course I take a ton of photos. And I'm still looking for it. But I get in the truck, notification, over-the-air update, and there it was. And I was like, okay. But it doesn't say anything. Maybe I can go back to the app and maybe it'll tell me what it is. But it doesn't say anything at all about what they updated. Account, message center. Oh, my alarm trigger. Yeah, this is another interesting stuff. When I had the trailer connected, so I did a video with the Home Depot trailer. When I had the trailer connected to my truck and I locked my truck, the alarm went off twice. And so I had to, I had my little Chevy trailer. I had to undo my Chevy trailer and then park my truck. It would not let me park next to it. It was really strange. I still recall showing. Anyways, I forget. It just said, hey, we did an update and your truck is better. That's all it said. Here's the interesting part, and the reason I brought it up in the video, in the description was, ever since that update happened, and I'm still trying to find the language on this, ever since the update happened, I can't use the auto up or down on my driver's side window. And I didn't even notice, I didn't notice this until I went to like the bank or something like that. And, you roll down the window, whatever, you do the ATM machine. And then I tried to like do something and I was like, I can't. And I was like, that's bizarre. It may just be timing that happened that way. But it was weird. And the passenger side window works just fine. But the update, and killing me, I can't find the photo of it because I have it somewhere. It said it was like a cell phone update, like for your iPhone. It said, hey, we've updated your phone. It works better now. They didn't say they addressed like the zone lighting issue at all. They didn't say anything. They just said over-the-air update happened, and now my window doesn't work right. And what's weird is, this is why I think it's a software issue, is the power button on the window works fine. I can roll the window down and roll it back up. But I lost the ability to do the auto. And I can't figure that one out. And I haven't gone to dealer yet. I'm going to dealer and I'm going to go check it out. Sorry. I know I get on these talks and Jill's drinking her wine. But anyways, so that was one of those things. It was a weird situation to happen. So it's my first over-the-air update, and again, I need to go to a dealer. Now, there has been some conversations that have been happening. It is a coincidence. I think it's coincidence. I think it's totally coincidence this happened. But it's
a you problem.
That's probably is a Tim problem. I have gotten some comments from people on the channel that talked about the undercoating. Ford is now undercoating some of their trucks because they listen to the consumer. So I'll be curious to go to a dealer and have the dealer check out my truck and see the dealer. So I have that going on. And I have a video tomorrow on a transmission cooler on the truck. So there's more video coming out, and I keep finding reasons to keep the truck because I keep finding new videos to do. But that's my Ford update about that. That just, I don't know. And I think he thinks it's built in, but yeah, I think it's got to be a software issue. And the damn hits one keeps turning on.
The what?
Hits one station. I'm not a hits one person.
I'm trying to tell you your music choices suck. I'm sending you hits one from afar.
No, but the damn sync system keeps every few times I get in, it resets and plays hits one.
As it should, because that's the station you should be listening to.
No, I'm just driving along. I'm like, what the hell is this? Press the button. Yeah.
Well, so if you saw my little marriage saver video that I did for TikTok
yes,
from the Nissan Rogue. So my husband and I do not have the same musical taste at all. Like, I'm totally like hits one all the way, and he's like the 80s or the hair bands or whatever. And so I've actually started a playlist of music, of songs that we like together, so that I can play them when we are in the car together, because otherwise, like, he's grabbing my like stations and changing it, and I'm like slapping his hand, and then I'll go to like change the station, he's slapping my hand, and I'm like, you're not allowed to do that while I'm driving.
Yeah, but
it's a bad situation.
Driver controls the radio. Is that not part of your marriage?
You would think that it was, but alas, it is not, according to him. But yeah, I think the drive, otherwise, well, so unfortunately, I drive like 90% of the time, so it would always be my music, so I feel like that's a little bit unfair. I'm trying to be nice.
You're nice, yeah.
Hey! Nice, damn it.
I listen to, all right, so my music questions, so my music is classic rock, and I listen to Gar Channel and The Highway, and then when I get bored of that, I listen to news. That's kind of what I do. Well, when the kids in the car, we listen to that wannabe pop for kids pop, because I refuse to let them listen to the lyrics of the modern songs because they're 11.
Of WAP, you don't want them to listen to the lyrics of that?
Yeah, I actually had thanks to you or your husband, one of you two, I had to Google that because I had no idea what that guy's talking about, and that was a definite learning experience what that was, and yeah, thanks. There are times.
Well,
I don't mind.
Do you want to know how I managed to figure out the lyrics of that song?
You listened to it multiple times?
No. Thank TikTok for that. So remember the video that I did?
You should tell the story. This is a good story.
Oh, you want to talk about being completely oblivious? I don't usually listen to words of songs. I like the beat. And the lyrics to me are secondary. I don't really care. So going back in time to when I had the Ram TRX, and I was talking about the places that it would fit in Chicago, and the first video that I did was if it would fit in my garage, and I said, let's see if this truck fits in my garage, and apparently some of the lyrics kind of mimic that, and I like that video has 2 million views. I probably made like $100 just on that video because of my stupidity and everybody else calling me out, and they're like, WIP, you're making a cool reference, and I was just like, oh, I'm really not that cool.
Yeah, and the funny thing was it didn't fit in your garage. Anyways, no,
it didn't. and to make it even worse, the truck was black.
Oh, yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, definitely Google that song because
Or don't.
or
You don't
don't.
need to know that. You
Or,
don't.
yeah, if you do, put it on that incognito tab. Trust me, do that.
Or DuckDuckGo, do that.
Yeah, whatever doesn't trace you, because it is. um, Logan says he drives down the road while eating cheese, listening to country music, just to get weird look from people. No, I mean, I live in the country, and this is what people listen to in the country. I don't know. It's what I went through this whole period of rap and stuff when I was a kid, and this, that, and the other, and I was just like, it's what I kind of came down to as I get older. Just what happened. The things that happened. I do want to get to. I just looked at my title. I forget, and we totally skipped over this. So I'm getting press releases now on the Silverado EV is coming, and again, I'm trying to be excited for this, and I'm trying. They did say in the press release that it's 400 miles of range. It's gonna be great for fleets and some retail customers. So I mean, I think it's definitely a fleet focused and some retail customer kind of truck. I'm definitely seeing not much capacity, and as far as towing capacity and as far as range being loaded up with stuff, I think it's a totally fleet vehicle. But they're excited about it, and I got to be excited too. So there you go. But they also did say in another article on CarBuzz, who got hold of my friend Kyle Suba with Chevy, and she made the mention that yes, we do have new updates coming for the Silverado. We'll announce later on this year. There will be new Silverado news coming. So they have confirmed that the new updates for the internal combustion engine Silverado is coming in 2022, which we kind of knew that was going to happen anyways because they kind of leaked the news about the Silverado engines. But we do know new interiors are coming. So that's what's going on. So with that news, the comments are still about the WAP song. That's kind of funny. So there's updates. I was going to make a joke about how a company that can't make good seats is building a $112,000 Hummer, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. So there will be, some of the Hummer EV tech will trickle in the Silverado EV, I think, but I think they'll probably keep the crab walk off. They'll keep a few of the bigger items off because you can try to make this a more affordable one. It's going to compete with the F-150 EV, and so it's going to try to be more competitive in that lower price range. I think this will be the one that you guys can actually afford. And I was actually thinking about this. I was thinking I should actually buy one of these things. I should.
An EV? Yes, you should.
Because
that means you're going to have to install a level 2 charger in your house, though.
Yeah, I can run the wiring. Not that big a deal. But I just think I should actually buy one of these things and see if I actually come around on it. Because I mean, if this is the future, and I should be part of the future. I don't like it. It's not something I aspire to, but I still have my old Chevy I could drive around if I had to get bored of the EV, because I'm pretty sure I will. But yeah, I was thinking about this. I was thinking, what if I bought Tundra later on this year, and then I did Silverado next year as the EV? I wouldn't buy the Ford because I have a Ford right now, right? So, I
think the EV is going to be available next year.
That's right. There was a conversation that John Buckler had about it, where LG is building the batteries for GM. They're building them in Korea, and because of shortages and stuff, there's 12 to 18 months before any sizable volume of EVs from GM is going to come out because of delays in building the batteries. Because they're basically, the story goes, as they're still trying to figure out how to build the batteries at scale. So I'm like, these people have put down these reservations and put their name on stuff.
$112,000, I'm promising you. No.
Right? I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah. Don't wire the house, have a dedicated windmill for it. Ooh, I like this. I like the idea Gene puts out there. Get Jill to Tundra and you get the Silverado. Jill doesn't have a place to park the Tundra.
Yeah, it would be on my street.
Yeah. No,
I could park it on my street, but it would 100% be on my street. I probably would not drive it very much because I'd be afraid of losing my spot.
What do you do in the city? You just park a lawn chair right there, right? Don't you? When you leave?
Only when it's snowing. Only when it's snowing. You cannot park the lawn chair when it is not snowing. There is no summer dibs. In Chicago, there is no summer dibs.
Yeah, so we've talked about that. Yes, Philip's in line for the Cybertruck. I'll be curious what happens at Cybertruck. Her garage. No, she has no room in her garage. She needs to move to a real house with a real garage.
So it's the length that's the problem. Now, like I have about in terms of width, I have like a car and a half width. The other problem I run into, and this is specifically what I ran into with the TRX, is my alley is very narrow. And so, in addition to not necessarily fitting physically in my garage, I can't make the turn to get into my garage because, in addition to the other person's garage across the alley, there's trash cans and people stack them double wide in the alley. So you have to do, like, when I'm pulling into my garage, I do like this, like I go like this, and then I do like this weird like zigzag to try and get around the trash cans on this side, and I mean it's and on TikTok somebody was like, "Oh, I thought you put those there as an obstacle course." And I'm like, "No, this is actually the way my alley is situated. It's not easy." So there's a couple things going on, and so the TRX was not only too tall but also too long. Once I finally got it lined up to fit. So like I think like a Tacoma might fit without a long bed. Certainly things that are like the not the full cab, like 2 full 4 doors, like something like that with a shorter cab would fit. Again, as long as it doesn't have the long bed. I did fit in my old garage, and my new garage is about 2 inches shorter. But in my old garage, I did fit the Gladiator. I fit the Raptor, which didn't have the full like 4 doors. I fit. I feel like I fit one of the 1500s, the Ram 1500 in there. Like the Canyon, the Colorado, no problem. But, it's the full-size trucks I have a problem with.
Okay, we need to stop talking about your garage.
Okay, sorry.
I was biting my nail trying not to laugh out loud at your discussion of your garage. But, all right, so...
It's small.
Oh, my goodness. There's a solid-state battery Toe's working on. I've read some articles on this. It's still vaporware at this point. I wanted to ask you, though, about the Tacoma, because you have a video coming out where you drove the Tacoma in Florida. And I'm curious, you had not driven the Tacoma before? Okay. Mm-mm. So what's your too long didn't read? What was your thoughts on Tacoma?
Okay. I liked it. I didn't love it. It wasn't a top tier trim. It was like the off-road version. So I tried to like keep that in mind in terms of the plastic materials and things like that. The seats were super comfortable. I drove from Miami to Orlando. So it's like a 4-hour drive, and did not get fatigued, did not feel uncomfortable at all. So I liked the seats. It does have Apple CarPlay. It does have Android Auto, but it's wired in. So like some of the tech is a little bit outdated, and but it's like one of those things where I like keep trying to keep it within a frame of this is a truck. People use it for work. People use it for off-road. People use it for sometimes family stuff. So I liked it. I didn't not like it. And this is not the TLDR version apparently. You never asked me the TLDR version. I can't do that. I liked it. I didn't love it. The interior is a little bit plastic. The seats are comfortable. The ride is definitely harsh. There was a lot of wind noise and road noise coming into the cabin, so it wasn't quiet. But you turn the radio on, you listen to a podcast, whatever, and you can tune that stuff out. I live in a city. I'm used to like the white noise. Mm-hmm. But, if you're expecting luxury, this isn't it. If you are just going for, practical, functional, longevity, reliability, this is it.
Yeah, we've had discussions about the entry-exit, and I'm sure Jill's going to point out in her video, You make me edit that part. But what do you think of the powertrain? I hear a lot of. So I want to give a little backstory. Sounds snobbish again, but I've driven this truck in many different places. I've driven in Hawaii. I've driven it in California. I've driven it in Texas. I've driven in Oregon. Or no, Washington. I think we were doing that. Anyways, event. We're in Seattle. So I've driven all over the place, and I've had it for press loans and such. And I've heard consistently now from customers who've bought this, who call it gutless. I guess the more. Oh, Jill went away. Where'd Jill go?
My mom is calling. Sorry, my mom was calling.
Oh, sorry, Mom. I'll be with you in a minute. So I mean, but did you get the sense that it was gutless?
I can see why they would say it was gutless. It has enough power, but not any more than that. And it definitely wasn't fast. You had to do the hard press, and to get it to move. It's not nimble at all. I can see why they call it gutless. It's not speedy. It gets the job done, but that's it.
So I'm always curious about this, and let me make sure I say this in the right way. I posted a video a week ago, whatever it was, my wife and her sister-in-law, or her sister, her friends went to IKEA with the Ford F-150, and because the fact of the matter is, guys, women make a lot of choices in buying our vehicles. They do. So we need their opinions, and I'm always curious.
84% of women influence decisions on vehicle buying. So.
Right, and so I take some grief sometimes, people of having Jill on the channel and women on the channel, but frankly, get over it, because this is what the reality is when you get older. Is that's what's going to happen, or you're the single guy at the bar drinking your Budweiser with your belly button. I mean, that's what's happening. Anyways, so what I'm curious about is you've driven. So let's go through your mid-sized lineup here. Ford Ranger. Have you driven Ford Ranger? No. You've driven Tacoma. You've driven Gladiator.
Yep.
Frontier. Yes, because you had the older one. Colorado.
I think it was the I have driven both the Colorado and the Canyon, but the Colorado was in like a regional program, so it was like a half an hour. I had the Canyon for an actual loan.
So besides the Ford Ranger and Honda Ridgeline, I should say, remember that one. Mm-hmm. So besides the Ford Ranger,
I've driven the older model, not the refreshed.
Right, I haven't refreshed either. You've driven 90% of the mid-sized competitors. Mm-hmm. The Tacoma outsells all the mid-sized competitors like 2-to-1 combined sales numbers. It's ridiculous. Do you see it?
No. Okay.
No, I just want to know.
Okay, let me think about this a second. From a female perspective, in terms of amenities and Lux level features and comfort, Honda Ridgeline wins. Like, I drove that and I felt like I was driving an SUV. I mean, which makes sense because of the platform, blah blah blah. But it was comfortable. It was quiet. It had all the tech features I wanted. Nothing felt overly plastic. It just felt good. I would say my second choice would probably be the Gladiator, and that would be for the kitsch factor. You know, I love, like, and it's not particularly comfortable. With the hardtop, it is quiet. But it's, just the cool factor of it. Yeah. I like how it looks. I like, I like how it drives-ish. It's definitely got some noise coming in if you're going to do, like, the soft top. But it's just the cool factor of the Gladiator. And then, the Canyon was definitely a lot more up-level, Lux level. The Tacoma, and again, maybe it was just the version I had, but that was just very, very basic. And, which, not that there's anything wrong with that. Some people just want reliability and they want a functional, solid truck, and that's what it is. But, if you're going to go for the wow factor and the comfort, unfortunately, the Ridgeline is what it is.
Yeah. I could see that because the Ridgeline definitely hits that niche of a non-traditional truck customer. And I'll say this: I get asked more about the Ridgeline than I do any other mid-sized truck. And when I get asked about it, it's from non-truck customers. people. I had a friend who just bought one. She's in Georgia, and she actually reached out to me. I've been friends with her for years, and talked to her. She reached out to me. They're in their 60s now, and they're buying their first truck. And basically, they have a house. Needed to do stuff at the Home Depot, whatever, get plants and flowers. They're tired of messing up their SUV. They wanted the truck. So I was like, I thought for the Honda Ridgeline was the choice for them. I'm not building furniture in the back of my truck. Thank you very much. I even being sick as I built the IKEA furniture this weekend. Thank you very much. But I did toss the chintzy tools that came with it, and I got my DeWalt drill. Thank you very much. Because I don't have time to mess around with the crank stuff. But yeah, I just thought, brand loyal, the reason for taco sales. I've driven taco a lot, and I know the chief engineer and the chief engineer. I'm friends with both of them. We've had conversations about it, and they're both like, every time a new competitor comes out, the Tacoma sales rise, and they can't figure that out either. and they want new competitors, because new competitors allows them to get more R&D funding, which allows them to make their product better. It's a business, folks. At the end of the day, that's what a business is. And if people start stealing Tacoma sales, Toyota will invest in their products. That's what, if they're still selling a bunch of them, and they don't have to improve their product because they're still selling a bunch of them, guess what, folks? They're not going to improve it. Why should they? They have no incentive. If sales start dropping and they have staunch competitors, then they're going to have to improve it. So, yeah, I have done stuff with the C-clamp. I did a bunch of here's the thing with the F-150. It's a pro and a con. It's pro to have a truck, and I love having a truck because I'm a truck guy. But the con is every time I do something with the damn truck, I think about filming. And sometimes I just want to use my truck. I cut up, I cleaned up, so I have this massive project. It's on my Instagram. I think I posted some photos of it. If you guys want to check it out, Instagram. Anyways, I have a 120-foot long, and we talked about this, 17, then also 34-foot at sometimes, and it's massive amount of space that is a side yard. I'm not going to plant grass because I'm not going to take care of another lawn. I have enough lawn as it is. And I had a bunch of leftover building supplies. So I took the truck, I plugged in my circular saw, and I cut a bunch of 2x4s and stuff down, of junk 2x4s. And I put them in my Chevy trailer and went to the dump. So I took the truck to the dump. And I didn't do a video on this because I was cutting and doing stuff. And I'm sorry, but holding a phone or a GoPro while I'm running a circular saw was not on my agenda. I was not thinking that was a good idea. And I was disappointed when I went to the dump. When I went to the dump, and this is the bonus material you guys get live stream. So I have the Pro backup trailer assist, right? And so you turn the dial, whatever. But the dump was so rutted and had so many bumps that the truck lost connection with the trailer. It was still connected, but electrical connection wouldn't work. And so the truck in the screen said, "We've lost connection with the trailer. We can't use the backup trailer assist," which really pissed me off because. Maybe I should do a video on this because it really pissed me off. Because the trailer I have is a piece of crap. It's a single axle short bed Chevy bed trailer. So they basically took a Chevy truck, cut off the bed, and they melted the trailer out of that. It's very common to do. It's a very redneck trailer to have. It's great because I throw whatever I want in this truck trailer. It doesn't matter. It's a work trailer, but it's a pain in the ass to back up. I made that in the video when I did the Home Depot. A double axle trailer, a little bit longer, is easy to back up. This thing, I look at the trailer, it jackknifes. It's the way the trailer is. A lot of times I just do that. I do that kind of trailer thing. And so then I was at the dump and it disconnected and wouldn't allow me to back it up, which really pissed me off. And so yeah, there was one time Pro backup trailer assist didn't work. And you need a drone to be your cameraman. Speaking of,
and you just tangented. You're like, and I was talking about this, now I'm going over here. Somebody bought himself a present.
All right, so hold on. Say hello to my little friend. I did. I spent the money on this. So yeah. So this is interesting. This is a Mavic 8 Air A2. I'm gonna do the. I don't think I can see it, but Jill hasn't seen it actually in person. She'll see it. Let him take it to Texas with us. We're both going to Dallas. Might bring it down. This is the Maverick A2. It's got a gimbal. I'm trying to find the right. A gimbal camera that just moves like crazy. It's got follow me mode. It's got active mode. My plan is I have a neighbor who's got a farm, and she's got a bunch of farm property, and there's some dirt roads with some climbs in it. And I plan on filming while I'm out there with the Maverick to get you some I can finally get some good off-road video. He's like, I can't do off-road video. I got to go set up the camera tripod and drive past it, make sure I got it. Wind's blowing, all this kind of stuff. So I flew it today and did some stuff. I have to get an FAA commercial license part 107, which I'm working on. I have to take that test and get that done. But I'm going to film with it, and then I'm going to pass my test. I'm going to publish my video. That's basically what's going to happen. But yeah, so it's a Maverick A2, and it is a drone. And I finally spent the money because, like I said, I found a person who has property I can use this on. And there's actually, right on a property, and it's another property next to it, there's a road that goes up to some towers for internet towers. And she said when she worked for the company that put those towers in, they could only send their four-wheel drive trucks up there because nothing else would make it. And so I want to go talk to the property owner and say, hey, can I just use that? I just want to film going up this hill because I finally have some rocky terrain. And so yeah, so I'm going to this is part of the new plan of the channel. I'm going to do some more stuff. I did, for those wondering, I did buy the $79 yearly crash destroy it service plan.
Wise.
Because I flew.
You may destroy it before you even use it.
I flew this today, and you have to. It's got a controller, and the controller is pretty cool. The knobs to run the controller are in the bottom. You actually take them out and you screw them in. Then it actually holds. Open it up there. It holds your cell phone. You plug your cell phone in, and then you actually look at the screen cell phone. And you fly it around. So this is confusing because you can look at your cell phone and fly like this. And you look up and see your drone. So you're like, it takes a little bit to get used to this thing. But I decided that I decided that I want to do more off-roading, and I need to do more cool video. And I thought the channel did really well, and I thought, you know what, we need to do this, and we're gonna see how it goes. I'm not certain how I'm gonna fly it and how it's all gonna work out. I'm hoping the video quality is gonna be great. It's gonna shoot, and I can shoot 4K if I wanted to. I bought the big memory stick for that if I wanted to. But I'm hoping to get some cool video, and I'm hoping that I don't know if it's gonna improve, if it's gonna change the numbers of the channel or grow the channel immensely, but I am working on that. So speaking of the drone, that is something that's going on. Yeah,
so
I do have that.
Question: how do you drive off road and fly the drone?
That's why I bought the Mavic A2, not the Mavic Mini. The Mavic A2 has a follow me mode. So what you do is when you put your phone there, right, with the controller, you take your finger and draw a box around the object, and then the Mavic will follow that object as you're driving up to 40 miles an hour.
That seems like a recipe for disaster. I'm glad you got that $79 protection thing.
No, it does. It does. So I mean, it's got a follow me mode, and it's got there's a couple different settings with that, and so I got to figure that out as far as that's the next step. So I have a Nissan Armada right now, and I will tell you this: I've always not liked the Nissan Armada. It's just been.
Do you have the new Armada?
What? The Armada.
The new one?
Yes.
Okay, we need to have a conversation about that, but okay.
Right, so I mean, I have this thing, and I've never understood it. But what I understand now is I could use it like a Land Cruiser. I could do some stuff Land Cruiser like. It's got off-road gear. My plan is tomorrow's supposed to be nice. Sunday, Monday is supposed to be kind of questionable. I'm going to go out anyways. And I'm going to really spend time next couple days on filming with the GoPro, or with my Mavic, going on some dirt trails I found. They're like service roads for the water company. And I'm going to do some off-roading with this thing. I'm going to try to get some cool footage of this. And I'm really going to try to put this thing in a 4-low situation, climbing a pretty sizable climb to see if I make it over the top. That's my plan with this thing. So I really want to try this out. So that's what I'm looking at with this. And that's one of the reasons I bought it was I had the GMC Canyon off-road edition package, whatever it was, 84, and I was upset because timing didn't work out right. I really wanted to use the drone with that because it's got some cool off-road tech with that, and I was like, damn it. Anyway, so I just did it. I just Amazoned it. $1,000 later, Amazoned it, and yeah, these things are stupid expensive. But and that's what I've always held off on doing that drone because it's so expensive, and I don't know that it adds any quality to the channel. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens, and so I'll take it to Texas with us. We'll try to do something. I have to get my Part 107, but I have a plan for that. I'm gonna watch some massively long YouTube stuff, do some massive cram studying. I'm a really good test taker, so I have some high hopes. You just got to pass 70%, and I have no ego on that. I just got to pass and get this little certificate that says I'm going to fly commercially, and then I'm good to go. And what's cool with the app is if you press the button, it shows you restricted airspace. It shows you where you can fly, where you can't fly. I mean, it's got a pretty cool setup, and so I'm hoping that by the time a couple weeks goes by, I'm more than a avid. It is a tax write-off, but I still got to spend $1,000. Still got to you still write that off, but you don't get the $1,000 back. It just goes against your taxes. So yes, that was the update. Thanks for asking about the drone. I was kind of excited about it. Dave's here. Dave. So Dave was just talking about drone and stuff. So I was just I was excited about that. I'm hoping to do something different. You guys gotta let me know in the comments. Everybody goes to Moab. Like, we see all these videos, everybody's going to Moab. And I want to do something different. I want to go off-road in western Nebraska. I want to go off-road in Wyoming. I want to go off-road in places that, I did a snow off-roading trip with some guys. I'd love to do again with my drone if I could, if I had something to do it with, right with them. But, I mean, there's some places to do in Wyoming that are unique and interesting. You don't have to go to Moab all the time. Mr. Brooks says, does add a channel as part of the slow building of the business? I think so. I mean, I've been around the bend on buying a drone for years, but it's the whole question, like 4K. Does 4K add to the channel? Does 4K is longer to edit? There's just a lot of stuff going on. I don't know. It's lots of stuff going on. So that's what's going on with that. Let's see. I did cover that. I think I did everything. I think we did all the talking we could do. Jill's like, she's done. She's ready to have dinner.
No, I was just like Hummer EV, SUV, Silverado EV, new ICE models, Ford OTA. I'm just double checking that you did in fact cover everything that you said that you were going to cover.
I don't think that there's I don't think there's anything else going on right now in the automotive world. I mean, unfortunately, normally we're busy. Normally, New York Auto Show. We just finished up Chicago, and I will tell you this that. I think I'm going to do more auto shows next year. I think as the channel grows, I think we should do more auto shows. I mean, I'm not a huge New York City guy, clearly.
Go figure.
But I just think that a lot of times, that John Vedavu, that's a good idea, John. So John lives in Wyoming. I have to get down to Cheyenne. He has some whiskey for me. I need to get down there. But yeah, I think that it's one of those things. It's like, I was thinking about going to New York City again. I don't know. New York City is hell of expensive too. But you guys keep supporting the channel. You guys keep watching videos, hitting the like button, all that kind of stuff. And we'll see what happens next year. How's that? Oh, and I have to get to Chicago. I have to see a certain Jill Simonello in Chicago that I have to get there for. And we're still working out details.
And there may be the Chicago Auto Show this year still.
Well, yeah,
maybe.
We talked about Duluth. So here's the question for you guys. In the comments below, again, if you listen this long, I'm thinking about taking Jill and driving a tank. We're talking about driving a tank together, and I could do a drone footage of driving a tank in the woods with Jill and I. Are you guys interested in that kind of stuff? I think it'd be kind of interesting. Jill gets a project truck to build. You know what? I have the project truck for her. Hold on. I will send her the project truck. I'm going to send it to her. Hold on.
Hopefully it's Lego. I might be able to do that.
Well, in fact, it is. I will send you. It is a Jeep Rubicon Wrangler. I'm telling you, this thing is pretty badass, actually. And the hood opens. Yep, the hood opens. It's a V6 in it. No, V8, V6. And it's you can take the tires off. I think it's got a winch in the front. Yes, it has a working winch. It doesn't say Warren, but I'm sure I can get a Warren winch for you. And yeah, pretty cool thing. little things we get. All right, there we go. Tanks, yes, we should do it. So Jill is running a race in Duluth at some point. And I thought about meeting her up there to do some stuff because I have cabin fever like crazy. My wife wants to get rid of me because she knows how bored I get. Sitting here all day. Yeah, that's what happens. All right, we really need to sign off. That's all I got, folks. Comments are done. That's done. Again, thanks for all your support. It's been fantastic.
And they're saying yes to the tanks, by the way. So you're gonna have. Does this mean you have to run the marathon with me?
No.
Well, then you know what it does mean. So my husband is going to be coming with me. And that means that you and he have to follow me on the course, which means you will be getting some running in.
I'm not liking this plan. Moving along. Let's see what's going on.
So you have to make that happen. You have to come and cheer for me during my race. You need to everybody needs to comment and say that Tim has to come cheer for me during my race.
Do we get rollerblades?
In Duluth. No rollerblades.
Not fair. Not fair.
Well, actually, maybe. Can you rollerblade?
I think I can go forward.
Okay, so by you saying you are not allowed to rollerblade with my husband because, by the way, he will pulverize you. He's been rollerblading every day. So my husband is older than I am, and so he's doing this whole fat ass thing where he's trying to get out and rollerblade every day, and he's picking up speed, and he will not. So I feel like I'm the athletic one in this relationship, and he will not go rollerblading with me because he thinks I will fall.
Wow.
So I'm just gonna say you don't want to rollerblade with my husband. That's the point of that.
Red to motorcycle. I like the motorcycle plan. I'm going the motorcycle plan.
Yes. Shots every mile. You know what? It's only going to be a half marathon, so I want to do shots every mile. Come on.
Yeah.
Yes, it is grandma's, John. I'm going to be doing the half marathon, not the full marathon. So.
All right, we are out of here. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you